Hello students, now we continue our revision of metallurgy and we move on to the next part of the chapter, that is ionic compounds. So the definition of ionic compound is as follows. The compounds formed from two units, namely cation and anion, are called ionic compounds. Similarly, the definition of ionic bond is the cation and anion of an ionic compound being positively charged have an electrostatic force of attraction between them. This force of attraction is called as ionic bond. The number of cations and anions in a compound and the magnitude of the electric charge on them is such that the positive and negative charges balance each other. Therefore, an ionic compound is electrically neutral. Here, cation is a positively charged ion, whereas anion is a negatively charged ion. Even though they have individually, they carry charges, when they form the ionic compound, the charges, opposite charges, cancel or balance each other. Thereby, they make ionic compound electrically neutral. Ionic compounds have crystalline nature. So, ionic compounds are crystalline in nature. The surfaces of all the particles of a crystalline substance have a definite shape and are smooth and shiny. The regular arrangement of ions in the solid ionic compounds is responsible for their crystalline nature. General crystalline structure has negative ions arranged around a positive ion and vice versa. That is, positively charged ions, they are arranged around the negatively charged ions. Two of the important factors responsible for a certain crystal structure are as follows. Size of the positively and negatively charged ions and magnitude of the electric charge on the ions. So these are the factors responsible for the certain crystal structure. Now we are going to discuss properties of ionic compounds. So they exist in solid state and are hard. Reason? Because the attractive force between the positively and negatively charged ions is strong, they have solid structure and they are hard as well. The ionic compounds are brittle and can be broken into pieces by applying pressure. Here we can consider example of sodium chloride, that is common salt. So we can easily break the crystals of sodium chloride into pieces. Melting and boiling points of ionic compounds are high. Reason? Because the intermolecular force of attraction is high in ionic compounds and large energy is required to overcome it. Hence, their melting and boiling point is high. Ionic compounds are water soluble. Why? Because the water molecules orient in a particular manner around the ions separated by dissociation process. So whenever you add ionic compounds in water, the process of dissociation takes place. That is, the ions, that is cation and anion, they are separated, and water molecules, they orient in a particular manner around these ions. As a result, a new force of attraction is established between the ions and the surrounding water molecules, replacing the original intermolecular attraction, and aqueous solution of ionic compounds are formed. We continue with properties of ionic compounds. So ionic compounds are insoluble in solvents like kerosene and petrol. This is because, unlike water, a new attractive force cannot be established in these solvents. The ionic compounds cannot conduct electricity when in solid state. Why? Because in solid state, the ions cannot leave their places and hence they cannot conduct electricity. Whereas in the fused or molten state, ionic compounds can conduct electricity. because in the molten state, the ions are mobile and hence they can conduct electricity. The aqueous solutions of ionic compounds conduct electricity because they contain dissociated ions. On passing current through the solution, the ions move to the oppositely charged electrodes. Here we are going to discuss a definition of electrolytes. Due to the electrical conductivity in fused and dissolved state, the ionic compounds are called electrolytes. Here we come to the end of revision of ionic compounds. We'll continue further in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.